Hello, and I am very happily and a little bit tiredly welcoming you back to my YouTube channel, Helena Halima. So, this is my name, and to give you a little brief introduction, um, then with like 4 or 5 words, I'm just saying that I'm a world traveler and a little bit homeless, and I've been sitting inside a park for like so many hours now. It's been raining, and it's been also not raining. It's been very stormy. It's been like, one of those days when you feel like you're a poet, but at the same time you're not a poet, because there's like something that just sort of, is more calling, which is like spirituality, which is actually very, poetry is actually a very spiritual thing. Just saying that, spirituality and poetry are literally very worshipped right now. And mainly they're worshipped just because I'm like in a very beautiful place. And I've been feeling a strange thing very recently called that my voice or my accent. I mean, I've been noticing it for several years now, but it's been lasting and behaving in so strange ways that I'm starting to find it as like a interesting topic to discuss. So basically it is that I'm finding that my own talking or my own accent is changing, and it's changing like, pretty funnily, meaning that it is finding like this very weird accent. If somebody can tell me what accent I'm talking in, it's probably some sort of an English accent which I have unconsciously like picked up somewhere, but I really don't know like through like which place it is belonging to. But I would actually really like to know it. So just to put these words out there, if you see that or hear that my talking is peculiarly, having like some sort of holes inside or whatever it is, it's just because my accent is doing strange things with me. And the place where I'm at is a very nice garden. There's a castle there. It's a Brighton city, and the castle is pretty beautiful. So this is the place where I'm feeling like a little bit of like poetic, a little bit of just under the weather, I would suppose, like heavily under the weather, because it's stormy. It was stormy and very windy, so I was trying to find a place to film, but I wasn't able to really find it. Although I was going to all sorts of bushes and places under trees, but they were all leaking and all of it was coming through the leaves. So I didn't, really find a way to film. And when there was like a little dry hole, like first when I came into this park, I was just sort of sitting on the grass and burning some incense, which was actually pretty beautiful. I was counting my mala beads. I have this very nice green mala which my friend gifted to me before I was leaving Estonia, and which I've been carrying around my hand ever since, because it just kind of fit around my head, sadly. It's one of those, smaller ones. I mean, it's still got the right amount of beads, but it's smaller, but I really like it. It's got this fluffy thing, and I can whirl it around when my mind gets messy, or just to walk around with it and count the beads. So today I was walking around with it and counting the beats and just saying the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum with each beat I was counting. And this was very very peaceful activity to do. Um, Especially because this night I was not really sleeping. I was awake all of the night, and I know that I have these nights very many times where I'm just awake, and I know that in these nights I'm actually supposed to create poetry or create something beautiful or go outside, have like a walk and just admire the world as it is in its quiet time when it's night time and it's beautiful and everybody's asleep, and just the energy of like inspiration which is created during our sleep time is able to go outside and is able to just travel around the city. It's highly spiritual time, and usually I really love and adore walking around at night, just on the streets, seeing what is happening. So peaceful, so full of inspiration and peculiar things that you don't see during the daytime. It's also when I like to dance, when I like to meet other nighttime travelers who are, on their jolly road, or just homeless people who are just sleeping. And or the other night when I was living in Plymouth, I was spending many nights awake. I only needed to sleep like couple of hours or like an hour, right? Just doze off a little bit, get like a nice deep rest, and just wake up, start moving myself again, be warming myself and going back into the like right spirit to continue with a spirit of awakefulness and with a spirit that is full of energy, with a spirit that is rejuvenating, and just in tune with the world. And this is the spirit which I really, 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 really love and want to worship and also like regenerate again and again and again, as I see it's highly blessingful one. And my own spirit or body or mind or the unity or the trinity of it really, really loves it. Just loves it the most in the entire world. And this is the area of the world where we can also put our all of these beautiful and magical things like poetry, like art, like music, like romance, or like romantical things, and so many things. Is like this type of a world, and it opens very very nicely when it's night time. We are maybe a little bit dozy, but at the same time is like able to wake us up and put us into place of like total awakeness while being in like a nice dozy kind of a samadhi, if you would like to say it like this. And at the same time is highly alert, because people and all sorts of animals as well like to be and need to be alert during the night time, like a little bit more alert in like different way, meaning that they notice things more. It's dark, so you're not so stimulated, and you can easily see the things that you wouldn't normally see, but also not be so influenced by it. So for example, when I am spending my nights outside, then I'm in a totally different mood, and I love it. Also, one of the reasons why I am doing this world traveling thing and just living outdoors and out in the world, in the cosmos, in the universe, like in a very very open and freedomy way, just in tune with the stuff that I'm in tune with. A lot of it is because I have so little requirements in my life or for my life that is basically like 0 point of like having a house or like a box to live in or put like some material inside that I then all of a sudden am supposed to care about. So strange to think about these things. It's like, you know, a lot better to be out in the nature and to be in contact with the nature and with the world. And for example, human beings are generally a little bit conditioned. They like to sleep at nighttime, and then during the daytime, they like to be awake and do things. But when I am finding myself being awake during the nighttime, and for some reason I'm like right this time like accommodated by some friend or somebody, then I feel like when I'm awake during the nighttime and not going outside, I'm putting myself through like huge amount of self-torture and suffering. And I wouldn't have thought it, because when I was younger, like teenager, like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, then I would be awake all night. I would be inside. I would just do something that I would thoroughly enjoy. Just, practice something like do arts or play guitar or just, sit in the computer or do some writing or whatever I got myself into. I would keep my focus all night long doing this thing. But right now, what I am seeing and feeling is that I cannot be inside when I cannot sleep at night. And I really have to remind it to myself. It's really difficult, because I've got this habit that is just coming up from the past of like being inside, and also it's like influenced by human beings. Even when I'm spending a little time with like a nice roof on top of me, then I can get so highly like into staying there. And also, I don't want to say anything bad about it, because I actually very much appreciate it. But when I'm having it so comfy and nice, then my spirit is actually struggling when I cannot be with my spirit at the same time while I'm having it, comfy and nice. And I feel like it could be just like general knowledge of like you as well, somewhere listening and being interested in this nature type of people who are having peculiar patterns of like daily life, or like of their life in general, how they want to make it happen, and how they are actually, the more the nature takes you in, then it doesn't really let you out of it. It just doesn't want to put you into like a different type of a space, or it just wants to keep you inside the nature and in connection with it. And so I'm actually feeling like this talk that I'm doing right now is probably just like a little bit of like telling like from my own spirit what it's been like, and also sharing like a different side of me, which is the side that is a little bit struggling and doesn't really want to, show that it is struggling. I was just also talking to a bush. I had a very nice conversation with a bush. The bush was very understanding, luckily. And before that, I was talking to birds. They were also highly understanding. There was like another grandpa there who was, having a pigeon like walk on his arm, and then he gave me like biscuits, and I could also let the pigeon walk on my arm, and it was pretty lovely. It's really lovely. I had a lot of lovely things happening today, but I'm also sleepless, and it wouldn't matter. It really wouldn't matter. But I was sitting inside with my sleeplessness, and I didn't go outside. And I don't like when I do it. As you can see, this thing here is like under the weather, and I also thought of going to call this video like ho ho dear stormy Jupiter, what are you doing to me? As the moon has moved into Sagittarius by now, and I've really been feeling it more. Like 5 hours ago, I was so high in the spirit, in the mood of like making another video. I had all of the things in places of like how do I wanna make it and so on. So I just wanted to pinpoint it down like the Sagittarius arrow and have like a big explosion out of it. But because the rain started to come down and it went stormy and windy and all of these things happened, so my spirit got actually pretty low because of this. And I feel like I really wanna gather it up and still do this video thing and tell you about what is going on today in this Sagittarius moon ruled by Jupiter itself. So it's like a sleepy, hazy me talking to you there. And I still want to tell you, I notice that when I am in a happy mood, I'm so much brighter. I have so many more things to say. But I'm also trying not to discriminate myself being in this mood. And I kind of even feel like maybe I'm able to accept another bit of me talking to you and trying to find understanding and trying to get back into the truth of the way things are when we're not making our complicated minds into like complicating things so much that they cannot happen. For example, I was just having a walk before. There was a really beautiful market day, and I was really worshipping the staff there, just watching Indian clothes and other type of clothes and talking to humans like on the market there, just having like a good time and gathering my spirit up after the sleepless night. I got really happy again, and I was really actually thinking a lot about Buddhism, counting the beads, doing Om Mani Padme Hum, and just for the sake of it, when I'm like under the weather, it's good to do these simple practices. And then I was finally realizing that, actually, it's not about the sleeplessness at all. It's just about that I really need to find the consistency, even in these areas, even in these places. And, I was really easily getting into optimistic mood again. There was like one stranger who was sort of picking up what I was going through. And we had a really nice conversation. It was just reminding me of the spirit and that there is, mind and body as well as the spirit. And because my mind was a little bit tortured and my body was just, trying to find itself into like a walk to, just sort of have like a quantum leap into another place. And because many times it's something that works, just having a quantum leap. But then he was saying that, there's also spirit just reminding me and I was actually putting myself totally open and allowing my spirit to talk to him. And it was a very beautiful moment. I got a big release, and like we talked about 5 minutes, and after that I was so full of optimism. I'm feeling that, probably it's a Sagittarius moon, which I really like, or I'm trying to like at least in my mind, was something that was trying to overpower me. And what I'm feeling right now is as if I'm like scared to talk about something, and that something is just sort of, it's like a feeling, very strange feeling. That's maybe also I was talking to the pigeons and just sitting on the ground and worshipping the ground in this park. So I was walking full of optimism, and it was pretty nice, pretty good feeling. Just a little bit pointless, material stuff. I also saw like a homeless person who was like not being nice, and some homeless people are being nice, and he was like being first nice and then later he wasn't being nice. So what has this thing got to say about my life right now is just probably the fact that, things are like just flowing as they should be flowing, and sometimes the mood is low, and even then we can share with the world that it is like this. So while I'm talking, I'm actually calming myself down from the pressure which I'm creating for myself. Sometimes, not very often. I like to do all sorts of prayers and practices in order to stay in tune with the spirit and to stay in contact with the spirit. And the most stupid or annoying thing is when I'm starting to notice that I'm trying to kind of like, or my beingness or spirit or the way of my character or attitude, or I would actually call it spirit still, is trying to do is to try to kind of becoming like dependent of something or somebody in the world. And it's not even dependence, it's just that I'm putting somebody or something in my world in like a more important place than it should be. Like just the tiny little thing, whatever it is. And when I'm doing it, then it's not very nice. It can cause a lot of agony and bad feeling. But at the same time, when I'm trying to find myself like ways out of it, usually the only way out of it I can find that actually works is like something that I've been relying on, or something new, or something in between. And very often I have to, invent it up or figure it out what is the way out this time. It's like a labyrinth. Every time there is like a labyrinth, and when you're in a labyrinth and trying to find clarity and clearness out of it, then you cannot just ask for it. You have to go around a little bit, and you have to actually focus and show some effort, or just talk to the spirit, just show some intention that you're actually wanting something good for the world, and that the labyrinth should let you out. It's also something that can happen in airports, like the labyrinth there. I used to dream a lot about labyrinths and airports and growing like into big mansions where there were also labyrinths. It's just like a basic topic of my dreams for many, many years. I would always make the plane. I would always find myself in a labyrinth and finding a miraculous way out. But when I'm actually awake and not dreaming, then this miraculous way isn't always miraculous. It's like a scale where we have to pinpoint things down, and I actually wanna, talk with my hand as well as not using the microphone, because I was finding myself so stuck with holding it that I actually realized what was the bad thing that the spirit was trying to do to me, make me cling into my own voice in the microphone. And this is so stupid that I'm, almost like mad about it. But I don't want to be mad about it, so there's no point in it. So I just let it hang here. And feel like I can probably talk a lot better when my hand is moving and I can use my body language and not like pinpoint down how down my spirit has been or was or whatever it is that I'm calling or saying. So if I try to now gather myself out of this spirit, and just to focus on the nature, on the green. There's a lot of green around me, and this green is actually pretty beautiful. It's highly peaceful, highly peaceful. And it really is green. It's also color of the heart, or at least supposed to be. And another thing that I have in my pocket is this green crystal, just a ball. I just have it. I got it as a gift from the Sufi camp, from the Universal Peace camp where I was in. And I learned today that this is fluoride. This is fluoride, and it's very good for focus and mentality, mind world. It's got a tiny little crack inside it, but I'm pretty okay with it. It's also got a continent on top of it, like this brown thing, but mostly it's just sea of consciousness, which I like to worship. It's also good for the third eye, mental focus, and I've been having it for a few weeks, just carrying it around, and sometimes using it, holding it in my hand, and just finding that when I'm in trouble I can hold it like this in my hand, and I can find a lot of clarity out of it, a lot of mental clarity and focus, which can help me. Has, for example, helped me in library when I was trying to find the perfect book to read, and I couldn't find it. So I ended up just chilling with the ball, just like this, until I grabbed my focus enough and was able to continue with my studying and my work that I was doing on the computer. So yeah, this is a very nice thing to have. A very nice green thing. I kind of feel like I have to do this one video in this slow motion, in this peaceful attitude, because I feel like I've been having today and the night before like this, which means it really has to be like this. So however boring this is, then just, I appreciate you if you have made it this far. I know that my channel is a lot about me talking about things that might be really boring. But I also try to be as genuine as I can, and I'm realizing that in this genuinity I'm actually finding so many more aspects of myself, which, because I wanted to make this vlogging thing here as honest as I can, then I'm actually uploading the things that I'm doing. I'm actually uploading my every talk that I'm doing, so that I'm not like in like a place where I would not talk, or like in a place where I would talk and cut my sentences out or not published it or whatever, because I know that I can be as honest as I am, and even in this sleepy mood I can find this talk to be highly medicinal, as I was just finding out that the world sees this type of people as medicine. It was just waving to me. It just happens sometimes. I already mentioned it before. So I'm allowing myself to be in this sleepy place. I'm not putting any pressure. I'm not putting any pressure into my creation in this video. I say that I'm really worshipping green, and I'm finding funny correlations around it. I found today, as I was in the marketplace, I actually found myself earrings. I found a pair of earrings which are this with the symbol of a tree of life. I've got like a yellow one here, and I've got a red one here, like this. Red one and a yellow one. So there was also the same but a green one, but for some reason I didn't feel like getting the green one, so I got the yellow and the red one. And now that I'm having this green ball here, even this time I was manifesting my sleepiness, because I actually got something out of this trying to, please my soul or spirit because of having such a tough night time. And also the strange thing called Sagittarius moon taking over me. And while it was taking over me, it was just sort of trying to make me happy by putting me into like, just this big explosion of optimism, which makes you worship, which makes you think that you really deserve something good. And I was floating with this energy for several hours. Very funny stuff. Very funny when it gets you. Also why I had to do the Om Mani Padme Hum beads. Although I didn't have to do it this far, after like at least a month of having this mala with me. It was just so faithfully working so well that I didn't have to do a single counting. But now I have Om Mani Padme Hum this mala into like awareness mantra, um, which is actually, nice that I could remember it. I also got some incense. I feel like the spirit was really, as I was doing it, it was really guiding me, into like, as I was counting these beads, it was really guiding me into like the right place as I was doing this mantra, just in a bead after a bead. I ended up in a crystal shop, or like this type of Tibetan Buddhism, Hinduism, this type of woozy shop, as you would say it. And I ended up at the end of the shop, and there were these very beautiful instances there, just saying to me, Buddha nature, Tibetan incense, and just 2 packages of it. So I saw that I actually have to get them. I really have to get them, because it's a holy thing. I love incense very, very much, and I have found it very, very interesting and beneficial. So also, when I cannot sleep, just in the evening, burning an incense, having a nice prayer, and meditating all night, for example. There's so many ways to spend the night, and I'm just trying to make myself this like self-punishment almost, like a self-punishment of like, where the hell is my knowingness when I actually need it? It's so difficult when it happens, when I lose it at the wrong time. I like to say that I don't lose it at all that often, that I'm very much into these high practices and stuff, and I really am, kind of, but I'm not in the place to talk about it right now, because I find that life itself practices ourselves, and it's like a dance. It just sometimes gets out of balance, and then you have to embarrassingly admit that you're not so good at all, which I'm doing right now, right here, admitting that I'm not at all that good, I'm just, also able to say that I'm struggling, I'm having a bad day, that, spirit really isn't into it right now, or however I want to say it. I was also meeting a guy today who saw me praying with the incense and meditating. He was just coming and, very nicely, like, saying that I'm probably like really advanced and stuff. And he was also, loving meditation very much. So we changed contacts and thought maybe we will, like, go and meditate someday, like, together. It's really nice. I'm actually getting these guys a lot. Just the locals talking to me. It's like whenever I'm actually open and in a good spirit, then what happens is I can get it, like, without a single effort. Just how the world surprises me, how still it can be, how really, really still it can be. And you can see in this video, which I am seeing very, very clearly, is that my mind is so much better when I am using this mala. I mean, I use it a lot in my hand in various occasions, but when I was, touching the mic there, then the mic was influencing a very different way. So I'm really generously saying to myself, thank you, dear me, that you got out of this hooligan tendency of, holding the mic with your mouth a lot. I think one of my kind listeners or watchers or hearers was noting that it's really nicely heard when I put a mic next to my mouth, just keep it there. And I really like the advice, because I want to please you, I want to sound well, and I want to be well heard. So I was trying to please it. but my subjects and my topics were so much suffering out of it that now that I'm actually getting into the spirit, and you can see in my video how a human being gets into the spirit. If you can notice it or see it, just like in like these little bracelets, this little sentence there, then it's like I'm actually really, really grateful that I took this out, this blessed Om Mani Padme Hum awareness mala, and I can just whirl it a little bit and not ridicule it, as I don't want to ridicule these things. I'm unable to ridicule. Ridicule also means bag in Russian. So when I say I'm unable to ridicule, and there's like some Russian consciousness around me, which I feel sometimes it's trying to peek into my life and just sort of, share a few squats with me, so to say. Just this, I actually like Russians very, very much. Well, anyway, if I say that I'm unable to ridicule, then I can also say that I'm unable to carry my bag, my dear lovely bag there. So I'm just trying to, not make any of the spirits like mad at me for not being able to do the spiritual talk that I was planning to do today in a better form or in a better way. It's called Under the Weather, Jupiter trying to be optimistic but being heavily under the influence of bad spirit. Not a bad spirit, just under the influence of the water coming down from the sky. So I'm very, very grateful for the pigeons who were hearing me, and I would just sort of like myself actually to watch this video later on and to really tell to myself that you there, when you're watching this, I mean, maybe there will be not a single human who gets past this point into this place here. That doesn't really matter that nobody gets into this place, and I can just say to myself that please do the mantra, please just focus, use your energy ball, and use your mala, go for a walk, do something. If you cannot sleep, do something. Write poetry. Don't talk to the spirit all night long. I love to talk to the spirit, but I don't really like it when it is going on too long, because there is no effect of it, and it really goes a little bit low spirit. I don't want to carry too much of the baggage, being another reason why I'm still talking. I'm feeling my back a little bit, hurting, like my lower back again, and it's not too nice, and I don't want to create any apologies there. as I still find this, self-expression there to be pretty useful and to be pretty peace-inducing, at least hopefully. And I hope that I'm able to forgive myself when I'm not doing things as well as I would like to. I'm horribly perfectionistic. And sometimes I put so much willpower into making things happen in a perfect way that they just don't happen. It's very rare when it happens. But when it does, the thing that doesn't happen very often, meaning that things get so sad and strange that I'm unhappy with myself. And in this place, I just really have to find tremendous amount of self-acceptance and knowingness that even this has a reason. I'm always saying these high things, and the bird is beautifully passing by, just waving, this white turtle. Pigeon. Every time that I'm thinking or seeing pigeons, just turtle comes into my mind and into my head, and I just name them turtles. Maybe it's because the turtles who are under the water are actually flying. They're levitating in the sea, and the pigeon who is flying knows it very well. The pigeon is also levitating on the air with the air waves. We all have this type of waves. So it doesn't really matter. They're animals. Meaning it does matter. They're life forms. And in all sorts of my lifetimes, I've been a pigeon and a turtle and a pig and a horse. I've been so many strange things, like a bug or like a worm, or like a bush or a tree, or like a giant. Once I was like a big giant, just walking around, really strange place, really strange. Was to be this giant. To be honest, it's very, very funny when you realize these things. And when you get back into like a human form, into the place where you actually belong, then you see that you're not so different after all. You're not so different after all. We are all going through these evolutionary things. And we can travel there. We can worship this thing. We can share our food with the other beings, and they can also worship similar things that we are worshipping. So when we have like a blessed mouthful of something and we really share with it somebody, then they really get it. They really, really get it. I've been thinking a lot about the things that I consume and the things that go through my body. And a lot of the way that I am has to do with my body being just taking stuff in and releasing it out. Taking in and releasing out. Taking in and releasing out. This is also why I don't want to eat a lot. And sometimes I really allow myself to eat like huge amount, but it's very, very rare. I like to eat very, very little. I don't need a lot of food. I'm so good at digesting it. I don't need to sleep a lot. I don't need to eat a lot. I just need intellectual stuff to be intellectual. And keep in mind that the spirit here is highly acknowledging this, doesn't want to shy away. It's just putting the refuge right now into the place of like having to trust that when I talk I make more sense to myself. I find myself being a little bit wiser, a little bit smarter, and a little bit more understanding with myself and the world, allowing myself to talk more, and the way that my tongue likes to whirl around the air right now, and to swallow every swallow that I have to swallow, even when there's like very strange thing inside. Like I'm swallowing sometimes I'm swallowing a lot of human pain inside, like a lot of human suffering inside, and I just help humans to digest their suffering and to get better. Because when I'm living such a peaceful life, then I find that a lot of my service is to help humanity with my peacefulness. A lot of people have stressful lives. They have to do things, go here and there. But my mental health is so okay and so normal, and I'm living so healthy lifestyle that I can just allow myself to do it. I can help humans, and that's also why the world holds me, why it actually cares about me. Even when I'm in these strange moods and stuff, it just offers me so goddamn many jokes. It's highly funny. But every mood I'm in, it's just, tries to dance with me. Like dance with the universe. Like dances back, It's like you dance with it and it dances back with you. Another one of my friends called this same phenomena like playing like a ping pong with the universe, or like a tennis. You like throw a ball there, and another time it throws the ball back to you. So it's like karma. So you can call it anyway. You can call it a game. You can call it a tennis or badminton, or for God's sake, or call it like a dancing, because I find dancing to be nice. You can put mantras into dances, and there's, it's just nice to call it dancing. But I also call it a ping pong when I'm feeling a little bit different. So I was wanting to spend one of the nights in the seaside, but it was so stormy that I just ended up like sitting there and still going back inside. But I guess that was already 2 days ago. My spirit is also remembering very, very well, now that I'm talking about it, that when I am like in a sleepy haze, this type of maybe like place where I think I'm not so intelligent, or like kind of like a little bit like a monkey type of human, like just a little bit lower and slower and more into like talking to pigeons and stuff, or like worshipping seagulls. Or I ate 5 eggs this morning, which is probably, now that I'm thinking of it, the whole reason why I'm like so much into pigeons and seagulls today. And my tummy was just making like a green grumbling noise for it. It has been pretty quiet the whole day. It never grumbles, it just talks to me. There's another interesting factor is that We have a second brain in our tummy, a real wise one. If you listen to your tummy, really tune into it and listen, it's like the wisest place in your own body. I mean, you can talk to any organ really, just sort of see what is going through. And a lot of the spirits actually love this type of things. They love to show that, for example, you have like a kidney there, and kidney might be like behaving like this and that, or that you have like actually, I didn't mean kidney, I meant some other organ, but I'm sometimes messing them up. That happens when the spirit just tries to convince me like that there's like something that it really wants to let me know. And sometimes the spirits are very strong. They're also funny. Just like, they're actually very, very kind spirits with humanity. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, then this is also fine. Just don't think that I'm crazy, if you know what I mean, and if you believe into the spirit, and that everything has an essence, everything has life force inside, energy, certain vibrations, then you also know that there's a spirit in many, many other places, and not only in you, and the spirit that is in you is also highly fluctuating. The more you get to know it, the more you can understand that the spirit can change so easily and so much. But you don't grasp at it, you just let it do it, and you learn. The spirit teaches you. The spirit really, really teaches you. If you learn how to bow to the Mother Earth, for example, or just to respect Mother Earth, how to talk to it, how to nourish it, how to be with it in any type of a way or form. And you find out that this is the thing that also mystics are doing, or the forest people, or also Sufis, a lot of Buddhists, a lot of monks, a lot of Hindus, a lot of these spiritual people are into forest and spirit. And sometimes they're called a little bit crazy or like woo-woo. But I would like to not say it like this, because I don't see it like this. I just don't see it like this. It's highly impossible. I mean, if you want to really get to know how to understand when you're like a little bit lost and just finding myself like talking about the spiritual things, there's like a really cool fat mouse running around me, and just sort of I'm just thinking if it will come closer or like go further away. It's just been running here and there. It's very, very nice. I really like these animals when they do it. So anyway, I would like to also, another thing that came to mind. If you yourself are one of those forest hermits or people like me, then you probably know what I mean and what I'm talking about. And you also know that these are the most sensible people alive in actuality, because they're not including a lot of greediness in their world. They're highly in tune with the nature, with all sorts of species, animals, mushrooms, plants, with the raindrops, with the water, with their own dances and do-abouts. And I find it so effortless and so easygoing and so nice that is the most clarity that they can find. It's like the nature is teaching them all the time, teaching us all the time, like us forest people and the people who like to be out there and remind ourselves to be out there when we get a little bit stuck 'cause people like us, when we get stuck in a place where we don't want to be, is so devastating and difficult to our beingness. It's like just highly ruining, highly destructive or destructive. It's just so bad. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you know how goddamn bad it can be. It can be so horrible that we only find our true temple and our true place of belonging in the nature, in the midst of the nature, with the elements, with the natural force of the way of the world is. And only then we find these unions, these unities. And then we find that it is so granted for us. That it's really granted for us. And whatever state we're in, we're actually still in the union of it. We're really in it. We just gotta be a little clever here and there. You gotta find the right reasons, and when you find the right reasons, then we know that everything is okay and everything is fine. And we don't build like a snowman out of nowhere, where we don't need to build a snowman out of. Just warmness of these people as well. Forest people, they're so strange, but they're so interesting. Just so loving, this type of humans. Or like the old man sitting on a bench type of a person. So it's a little bit raining, and my phone, this electronic device in my hand, is a little bit under the rain, just a tiny bit, but it's pretty fine because it's not too bad. Once I threw my phone accidentally into toilet when I was like maybe 13 or 14 or maybe 15 years old, maybe even 16. Happened in school. I was going to the toilet and my phone fell inside the toilet. Just fell into it. Blumps, made a noise also. Then I had to go into the class. I was sitting in the front row and I just took apart this phone. It was like one of those language classes. And I just put it in front of me. The teacher was just, watching, like, what are you doing there? But also, like, not saying anything. It was a peculiar type of a teacher. Very, highly respected one. But I feel like, it's actually nice to remember all sorts of people who we have met in our lives, and to keep it real peaceful with them. So I'm really feeling like this natural energy stuff can naturally continue. When I'm talking of this place that would be called like real numbness of a person, then I feel like this is pretty good as well. Everything doesn't have to be overly big or overly small or overly in a way that we want to create it in our minds, or our craziness that is happening in our minds. It can just sort of be allowed to be, be allowed to exist and be allowed to worship another being's existence as well. We're not so different after all. When we take it down to the level of humanity, we're pretty similar, just in different places and in different conditions. And these things keep on enlightening us again and again and again and again and again. And the way they are, it's just the way they are. The more we can make peace with it, the easier it is for ourselves and for other human beings. There's always a hassle here and there, and there's always the creation of our own being, of our own doing. And the stuff that we are going through is creating our next creation very, very easily. This is also why I'm uploading all of the things that I'm doing without thinking of whether I should or should not. Because I just know it to be true. I know it very, very well. I don't need to think that myself is lying. Myself can just be in so many different forms. Because if I was lying, I would probably get like a tongue of a blah, or I don't really know. I would just probably feel strange or bad. Or not even lying, just being too uncertain of the way things are. This is another place where we can get stuck when we are so uncertain that we cannot continue. It's like a paralysis. That's not a nice place to be at. I know it very well. I've been in so many different mental states that it doesn't really surprise me a lot. But then again, I advise you there to go into nature when you're having a tough time. Myself as well. Stay in the nature. And stay with human beings, stay with good human beings. Stay with any human beings. Stay with the cats and dogs. Stay with the cows and leopards if you're living in a jungle. Or if you're in South America and I just got this big wet raindrop into my armpit, basically. It's just so nice how it's letting me know that stuff is alive and my own body is alive as well. It's really, really cool when this thing happens. So, congratulations if you have made it this far, listening to me speak to you about another great subject called being under the water with Jupiter and a ho-ho and a bottle of green worshipful stuff. So the ending of it would quite likely like to create itself in a way that is like not making me into wishing anything bad. I also don't want to wish anything particular, just want to wish for everything to be neutral and maybe like a little bit faithful in like that humans are able to like stay human in the world and realize their true nature as they are. Like self-realization again and again and again. It's a beautiful thing. When you first have it, it's incredible. When you second have it, it's different. When you have had it thousands of times, it's starting to get more enlightening than ever. It's pretty funny. So funny. So lovingly, I want to say that I love you all. I love you all very, very much and very dearly. And I really love you. I love you very, 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 very much. Just from my whole being. And I wish you well. I really wish you well. So be well and hope to see you next time. As attentive as you've been able to be this time. Whatever the sentence meant. If you feel like you wanna share my content with somebody, feel free to shoot it out. Feel free to shoot me comments. Feel free to find me in Instagram. Feel free to write to me in Facebook. Feel free to support me in a way that you find is supportive. And just love you so goddamn much that, hope to see you very soon again. And that you're taking care of yourself and being well. So peace be with you there, and bye bye.